Hey, Benjamin, headed to Texas this week. I don't really know what to say about that.
We'll talk about it.
Hey, let's go. Hello and welcome to March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. It's roofing you can trust, Dustin, with your home, just like you trust us with Bearkat Sports, you stinking lumberjack fan. This is Season 3, Episode 10. The Bearkats are 0-3. Quarterback questions, naturally, and a preview of the Longhorns. Good God, it doesn't get better. We're going to talk Lamar Wilkerson's NIL news. We got some previews and predictions for this week's game against the Texas Longhorns. I'm your host, producer, and once banned, never muted, catfans.com member. And I believe I am also a Sam Houston hater, certified.
Certified. It's in the bio, so it has to be true.
It's definitely true. It was said on the interwebs. Cory Hogue. You can find me on social media at Cory Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. And don't forget to check out my Substack, CoryHogueSports.substack.com, where I cover Texas non-FBS football every week. Wonder if the Cats will ever come back there. As always, I'm on a roll again. As always, I'm joined by the wizard behind Sports of SHSU, all one word on Twitter and Instagram. He's the COO of the Cat Fund and a true Bearkat himself, Ben Sorrells. And Benjamin, before we get talking about NIL with Lamar Wilkerson and football, we got a lot of football to talk about today. Give us some updates on the volleyball and soccer teams.
Yeah, soccer entering Conference USA play beginning this Saturday against New Mexico State, and a pretty impressive non-conference slate for soccer, considering the circumstances that they were dealt. Head coach leaves a couple months before the season. I think you were left with 14 players after that. Did a great job reloading with some quality freshmen and transfers. Picked up a really good win against Grand Canyon about a week and a half ago. Took care of McNeese, a bad McNeese team, but it's good to see you take care of those kind of teams. That's not something we've been used to up until probably a year or two ago. So trending in the right direction. Head coach Kendall Ayers, sounds like she had, I believe, her son last week. So Max Flores has been the head coach, or was for the last game. We'll see how long she's out. But really impressed with the performance on the soccer side. When it comes to volleyball, they're 6-4. Came off another 2-1 weekend down in Corpus last weekend. They have, I believe it's the Bearkat Classic this weekend after the Bearkat Invitational to start the season. So 3 more games before they crank up Conference USA play at home against UTEP in a little over a week. But another team where it's good to finally see some strides being made after a really, really rough last 2 seasons. Chloe Monson, the true freshman, has emerged as a star, which is good to see. So 2 programs that have put out some pretty quality results to this point. And conference play gets started for both within about the next week.
So I know I could get in trouble for asking this question, but instead of just Bearkat blah, blah, blah types of invitationals or classics, why can't we get that sponsored?
It's a good point. Cat Fund might sponsor it.
Hey! If only we knew somebody from the. Hey,
yeah, I mean,
how you doing?
We'd throw a couple bucks at them.
Yeah, 2 or 3, and then you get admission, right?
Yeah,
that's how that works.
It's 2 or 3 more than what there was.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, those are the D2 basketball teams get sponsors for early season tournaments. Like I know you might not get much, but something's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we got a lot to get to today. We're going to be talking some basketball. Lamar Wilkerson did something that we're going to talk about He mentioned it on the Field of 68 After Dark podcast last week on YouTube. We've got some video. We've got some audio for you to listen to if you're not watching us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. But first, let's hear a word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
So I am a believer that there are more than two things important. Just going to throw that out there. But I did not know Lamar Wilkerson's story. It is an impressive story, and he told it in his own words on the Field of 68 podcast last week. Indiana, here is his path to junior college. It's about a minute and a half long. It's an incredible clip.
You know, your road was one that took you to where you were basically out of basketball. People told you weren't good enough and you were working at a factory for a month?
Yeah, I was working at Husqvarna in Nashville, Arkansas, man. I was building chainsaws, I was building lawnmowers, leaf blowers, and everything for a month. And then I found out real quick that that's not the route I wanted to go. I couldn't do it, man. 12-hour shifts on a student line, yeah, I couldn't do it, man.
But okay, so go a little bit more in depth about that, like how you ended up there, why you ended up there, and then how you got out of there.
So basically, my D2 coach, I committed to D2 in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. He left, went to Arkansas Tech, called me, was like, hey, you want to come to Arkansas Tech? I was trying to get out of Arkansas, so I was like, no. So then I was reopened my recruitment. And then after I reopened my recruitment, everything was slow. Wasn't nobody reaching out, wasn't nobody calling. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get a job, try to stack some money up. So then I just started working, and then I called my one of my homeboys, and we was just talking about what he was finna do because he was finna go JUCO. I seen he committed, so I was just calling him, congratulating him. And he was like, yeah, I'm seeing you in D2. And I was like, actually, he just left, so I really don't got nothing. He was like, for real? He's like, hold on, give me 5 minutes. Call Coach Shear. Coach Shear called me in the next 10 minutes and was like, hey, come out next 2 weeks. And so after that, I went to Poplar Bluff, and then everything's been history since then.
Crazy.
That is incredible. And let me say, I have something in common with Lamar Wilkerson now, and it's not my basketball skills. Although, hey, when I got to be like 24, 25, I could hit a floater over some drunk guys in the men's league here.
Close enough to score in 21 at the Division I level.
No, but I could dish out a double-double any day over the guys who smelled like, Bud Light by halftime. But what we have in common, I also once started work in a factory job. I laid carpet in mobile homes. And let me tell you, it was so much fun that I joined the Army.
Yeah, and it was so much fun at Lamar lasted a month.
Yeah, dude, it's not easy, man. That is what those are hard jobs, and for those who do that, we need it, right? And I'm so grateful for you. That's not for me, and it was not for Lamar either. Both D2s he mentioned, Northeastern State in Tahlequah and Arkansas Tech, where I've kind of had some run-ins with them over the years through Lone Star Conference basketball. They've been in the same region as them, and they're two pretty solid programs. I don't blame him for wanting to get out of Arkansas. I always try to not visit if I don't have to.
Funny enough, I'm actually going to Arkansas this weekend, but it's a nice part of it.
I'm sorry. So that was Lamar's path to junior college. How did he get to Sam Houston? Lamar talked about it. Let's listen.
So my first year, I got hurt, almost blew my knee out. So I had to go back another year, and then Cody Hopkins actually saw me and was like, "Hey man, I need you to come to Atlanta, Georgia for this JUCO showcase." Went up there, did what I had to do. Justin Bailey saw me, and then ever since then we built a relationship. I built a relationship with all the coaches at Sam Houston, and then they took a risk on me, and then it just turned out to happen the right way.
These stories, it's interesting to me. It's not like they saw him and they were on him and they knew him. It's really, really difficult. And there are very, very good players that never make it to Division I basketball.
Yeah, at JUCO level too. Just crazy circumstances that guys end up in. They spend a year or two at JUCO and then move up, and Lamar is one of them. And Justin Bailey is now with Lamar at Indiana, was on the Sam Houston staff the last few years. But Justin Bailey got Cam Hoofner here through his Pittsburgh State connection before coming to Sam Houston, and he was the connection with Lamar. So Justin Bailey did a lot of big things during his time here at Sam Houston, and rightfully so. He's moved up to Indiana, and happy for him knowing who he is.
I know this isn't men's basketball, right? But I saw the softball put out a schedule a little bit earlier today for their fall schedule, and it's mainly JUCOs. And my thought was, that's brilliant. You get a chance to see all these players that you might need to recruit or want to recruit or don't know about yet to recruit. Get them on the list, and you're bringing them into Huntsville to get a look at a competition against your team. I really like that schedule.
And baseball's doing it. They've always done a similar thing. They're playing Angelina, I think, this year, and you kind of have to at a school like Sam Houston. I mean, obviously you want to pluck from other Division I schools and people that have done well there, but it's all about finding the diamonds in the rough, like Lamar or like a random pitcher you might play when you're playing Sandjack, you know what I mean, in baseball or softball, whatever it might be. So that's what it's really all about at Sam Houston.
Cory just said something good about Sam Houston. Yeah.
Close your ears, everyone.
Close your ears. Don't listen. You don't want to hear about it. Okay. Let's get into what really brought on this into the segment. And this is really, really good stuff. Really shows a lot about Lamar the person and how he will never forget. You could tell he will not forget what he came from and where he was. And here is why he decided to give a portion of his substantial NIL money back to Sam Houston.
You gave back to Sam Houston. I've been saying this for years. Rob knows this, that I think the schools for evaluating you, for developing you, for helping you get to that point should be compensated. Well, the school didn't get compensated by Indiana here. You gave back. You gave money, 6 figures, to Sam Houston State to help the place that helped develop you and make you into the player you are now. Why?
Man, I did it out of love, man. I did it out of love for Coach Mudge, for just Sam Houston. I've been there for 3 years, so it was home for me. I got comfortable there. I built a family with a lot of people, a lot of donors and everything. So I just gave back because I felt like, I want to see their program strive. I want to keep seeing them get better over time. So I was willingly to help.
I am very critical often about Sam Houston. Rightfully so, most of the time. Sometimes I think all the time. I'm never wrong in my opinion. But that shows how you do it. You come in, you make it a home, you make those relationships, you build those. And when these guys move on to bigger and better things, and look, we want them to, then they want to give back. That right there is the secret.
Yeah, and I think it just speaks to the culture that a lot of different coaches, men's and women's, have established at Sam Houston. And I know a lot of people give Bobby Williams grief for different things, and rightfully so, maybe not. But, I mean, he has established an incredible culture within the athletes and the coaches and the donors and just the community for Sam Houston. And it's something that guys want to give back to. And I know it was mentioned in some of the articles that came out last week too, but it wasn't something that, like we as Cat Fund or Coach Mudge or some donor said, hey, like, maybe you should give some of that money back to us. No, it was like completely on Lamar. It was on his end. He was the one that initiated it. So yeah, it was a really cool thing that Lamar did, and we had one other athlete do it, a football player from last year too. So it just kind of speaks to the culture that Sam Houston has as a whole.
That is awesome. That is great news to hear. And something else about Lamar. He's very, very generous, not just with his money, but with his time. Time is also money, some people will tell you. He gave a free basketball camp down in Texarkana to the kids that need it. And here's what he said on the Field of 68 After Dark podcast as to why.
Down there is not a lot of people that's been able to be in the position I am. I feel like it's not a lot of kids down there that's able to, have that mentor that they can come talk to about, that people actually want to, because there's a lot of kids down there that get caught in the wrong things just because they don't have nobody to talk to. They don't have nobody to, be that mentor as far as the sports wise. So I came back to show them like, hey, like if I did it, you can do it, like it may not be the easiest route. It may not happen when you want it to, but as long as you work, you just stay true to what you believe in, man, and believe in yourself, then it's possible.
I was told the thing that made your mom the proudest about that, it wasn't just the camp, it wasn't just giving back. It's that when you showed up at the camp, you rented a Hyundai Santa Fe, is that right? Showed up in a minivan?
Yeah, basically showed up in a mom car. Yeah, man.
That's great, man. It shows his personality. It shows a lot, says a lot about Lamar as a person. And on a smaller scale, I have dealt with some of this recently myself. As far as this last year coaching baseball, I really started to realize maybe a little more than I did. Well, the last few years, it's really eye-opening as you work with kids that are 12, 13, 14, right? And then you work with 9-year-olds. These kids don't have mentors, some of them. Some of them don't have father figures. And it's a responsibility, even on recreational baseball coaches of Little Burke Burnett Baseball League. You might be the only one that mentors these kids and helps these kids. And it's not a small responsibility, and I'm so glad to see somebody like Lamar take that on as well.
Yeah, it's super cool because he was a guy in a spot where things probably could have gone the wrong way. And so to be on the other side of it, to see him want to give back, it's super special. And I mean, I got to know him a little bit his last 2 years here. Didn't really know him his first year, but I mean, the person you see in the interview is the exact same person you get if you're having a conversation with him. So it's just a really cool thing to highlight him, highlight Sam Houston and what he's doing, and obviously wish him the best of luck going forward at Indiana and hopefully in the NBA or wherever he goes next.
Find that out. If you're on YouTube, you want to find it on YouTube, Field of 68 After Dark. They've got the podcast out on all the different podcast platforms. Listen to that segment. The entire thing is great. Not only Lamar, but the other player that was there with him. But they asked Lamar one other thing. I didn't clip it part here, but they said, have you ever played in front of a packed house like this place before? And Lamar goes, yeah, last year, here.
I was at that game too, yeah. I think he had like 19 points that game too. They must have liked what they saw.
Yeah, they asked him, they said, wasn't it close? And he said, no, for a little bit.
And he's not wrong. First half was a little back and forth. Indiana pulled ahead, but I think we got it to like 9 points with about 12, 13 minutes left, and then we lost by 20 or 25 kind of thing. But, I mean, kept it close for a little bit.
Great interview. Great stuff. Check it out on YouTube, Field of 68 After Dark on YouTube, or Field of 6. They have like 3 or 4 different podcasts, so it's really hard to nail it down. But if you search Field of 68, pretty sure you can find it.
Yep.
If you're enjoying the show, and we hope you are, help us grow by rating and reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Podbean at marchtothepod.podbean.com. It's March, the number 2. thepod.podbean.com, and on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok at March to the Pod, all one word, March number 2, the pod. And also We are proud, while others are not proud, that we are part of the CUSA Podcast Roundtable that has shows covering all 12 Conference USA programs. Give them a follow, give them a subscribe, find them on your favorite podcast platform. Before we get to previewing Texas, and should I have worn my Longhorns hat today, Ben?
No.
Oh,
I wore the Took Back Texas hat.
Well,
in honor of
I wore the Amarillo calf fries.
It's in Texas.
Well, and they are in the Texas League. Is it Texas League? Whatever the AA league they play in is with the Frisco Rough Riders. They're in the playoffs. So
there you go.
Dude, Amarillo Midland AA playoffs.
Doesn't get better than that, does it?
Doesn't that sound fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, before I get in any more trouble, let's hear some more from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
7 p.m. Saturday night. The Bearkats visit the Texas Longhorns at Darrell K Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. It's the longest name I've ever heard that's not a corporation on there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is broadcast on the SEC Network Plus, which means the ESPN app is where you can find it. Clay Matvick will be on play-by-play. Chase Daniel is the analyst. Tori Petrie? Yeah, we'll go with that.
One of them.
Yeah, one of those two probably. Sideline reporter. Series history. Texas leads the all-time series. That's not a surprise. It's 1-0. They last met 2006. Texas 56-3 over the Bearkats. Some numbers coming in to this week. Benjamin, the Cats are averaging 21.7 points per game. That is tied for 99th in the country. Texas, with Arch Manning, is averaging 24 points per game, tied for 91st. The Cats' defense, that is, in what I was told in the press conference, is ahead of the offense, is allowing 38.7 points per game, tied for 129th out of 133 teams in the NCAA FBS. And the Longhorns, they're 18th, allowing 10.3 points per game, and they've played teams like Ohio State. Not last week, though. Last week, they played them stinking Miners from out there in El Paso, and they beat UTEP 27-10. I was a little surprised that it was only 27 points.
Yeah.
For Texas last week, and I was also a little surprised the Miners put up 10 in Austin last week. The Longhorns are 24-0 all time against Conference USA opponents. It's the most wins without a loss by any FBS team against a conference all time or against Conference USA all time. Sam Houston, 0-15 against current Southeastern Conference schools. The Longhorns have 18 straight home victories against unranked opponents and looking to extend its home winning streak to 6 games. Meanwhile, the Cats trying to avoid an 0-4 start for the second time since joining FBS. We remember fondly the 0-8 start in 2023. Prior to 2023, prior to joining FBS, the Cats had not had an 0-4 start since 1977.
Ooh.
Holy moly, Benjamin.
Lots of fun facts.
Lots of fun facts. But we have, you know what? Again, Longo's getting better at this press conference thing. He had a pretty good one this week. He
Are,
did.
are we giving grades out now?
Yeah, I gave him a grade. I gave him a strong B+ on this one. Here is what Coach Phil Longo had to say about the bye week.
This 2 weeks here leading into the Texas game is, one, giving us a chance to heal up a little bit. Two, it's given us a chance to go back to some basics and try to create a little bit more continuity offensively. And so now we are full bore into the Texas game plan, and had a really good, this is our best Tuesday practice of the year. Had a really good Tuesday practice this morning.
All these videos are courtesy Bearkat Sports Network. Thank you for putting that out there. How do you feel about, anything of note that he says in there?
I mean, that one specifically, nothing too much really. I know he talked about a good 2 weeks of prep. And I know he mentioned they had a good Tuesday practice, maybe the best Tuesday practice. I think this kind of ties into the 2 weeks off. Sam Houston hosted a lot of official visitors. First official visits they hosted the entire year. Typically, most teams get it done in the summer. I've kind of been adamant that I wasn't a big fan of that. Got a commitment out of it. So I think the most notable thing, I guess, for us as fans that came out of this 2 week prep, bye week, whatever, is the recruiting side. And I mentioned that on Cat Fun last week that we'd see some recruiting movement. So I don't know. Those are just some of my takeaways.
This is big time and this is where Sam Houston's getting they're getting hurt this season by not playing at Bowers, because you could say, hey, kids, come join us over here, visit at, Shell Energy Stadium. But these games across all levels, every single college game that I've gone through the last few years, they are lined with prospective recruits. It is imperative. And so for them to get it done, get some of that in the bye week, I don't see that as a bad thing. They're going to have to adjust now. It's not ideal.
Yeah, and thankfully you've got 2.5 buys. There's 1 week where it's like, I think 10 or 11 days you have off. It's really the only time you can do it because you're not going to host a high school prospect on a Wednesday night in Houston kind of thing. So it's the only time to do it. Good to see a little bit of traction there, especially since there wasn't much during the summer. So that was really the most notable bye week thing that I had.
And it's also notable, this is their second and final game in September this year. They don't play again until October 4th when they start Conference USA. That's another opportunity. You think we'll see some more come in during that time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And getting the couple guys you did have committed in on official visits, I know 1 or 2 were there this last week, and I know Robert McFarland, the DB from Lamar High School in Houston, was there. So yeah, it's an important time, and you got to do it now with these bye weeks because you don't want to get left behind when signing day comes around in, December?
Well, we have questions, but before we get into kind of really looking forward to Texas, let's go back, because last week we talked about how Hunter Watson dressing out was just not a good look. It was not at all. Phil Longo took some time, took a question, and explained that in his press conference. Here's what he had to say.
Mabry got hit in the head twice, and had to go into the locker room. And then Landon took a shot to the head while he was sliding. And so that was a penalty. It was not targeting, but it was a shot to the head. And so we're down to our last quarterback. So we didn't feel like we were going to need Hunter. We brought him, and he's our starting quarterback, and so we brought him in as an emergency, and that became an emergency. So he suited up in case we needed him. He probably could have played in the game. He wasn't 100%, and so we did. We suited him up in the second half just in case something were to happen to Landon Locke. This week we will have 4 quarterbacks on the sideline, and right now all 4 are practicing and are in the room, and we look fine.
I'm okay with that explanation.
And that's kind of what we assumed last week, as I said, with his grade 2 shoulder sprain that Hunter had. It probably could have maybe played through it if he had to, but just didn't want to risk it with him.
Why risk it when you're not in conference? right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The other thing is he was not happy with the officiating last week with those hits to the heads on his quarterback. He mentioned that he got a 15-yard penalty in Hawaii of all places for that, right? Like, he really wasn't happy. I get it. He's protecting his players. That's cool. What about this week? 4 players. That's good. 4 players are going to play Texas. So what else? Who else has kind of gotten better? And how else are we looking at quarterbacks here for this week? Longo had an answer for that.
But he's back in the room now. The quarterbacks are good. It's a healthy room now. And so we'll kind of get back to the way we practice. We'll rotate through a couple guys and prep them both for the game like we do every week. And it has kind of normaled out in a number of our rooms. So not just the quarterback room, but I think a number of the other rooms we have gotten a couple guys back. And so it's nice to see some of those faces back out on the field practicing this week.
That is great news. More healthy, things like that. But there's one thing, and I didn't clip it. I probably should have, but, I'm the producer. Not great at prognostications or producing. And he mentioned that the defense is, that in his opinion, the defense is ahead of the offense. And he said that they haven't had one game yet where one guy has been the quarterback through the entire game. Sometimes that's been his decision. Like
In the UNLV, yeah, for sure. That one was, yeah.
Well, and didn't Mabry play at WKU? Was that due to
No,
injury?
what Longo said, there's only been one game where they've had stability at quarterback. That was WKU, but the UNLV game, that was definitely on Longo for going back and forth, and some of that was due to Hunter getting banged up late in the game. But the first half change to Mabry was definitely on Longo sitting in the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at where it all lies and how it all kind of weaves together. So
yeah,
there is that.
I don't know if the defense is ahead of the offense from a performance perspective, because if your offense is putting up 20-ish points a game, I mean, you won 9 games last year, averaging 23, 24 a game. I mean, it's not great, but you can find ways to win. I think the offense is probably performing a little better, but the progress defensively has been much better. You can see flashes, you can see guys start to emerge. Not that they're performing well, but they're definitely a lot better than they were week 1.
They're giving up 38 points per game.
Yeah, like I said, the performance is not good, but you've seen small amounts of progress.
We got to hang on to whatever carrot we can find this season because it's not going to be pretty. It's about to be 0-4. Ooh, did I give away my prediction? Shocking. And, we'll see. Matt, maybe let me ask you this. How do you feel heading into conference right now?
Oh, man.
We'll hit on more next week, but at this moment, how do you feel about this team as they head into the rest of conference play?
I think I knew this is where the team was going to be and where I predicted them to be at this point, so nothing about the team, in my viewpoint, really changes. My view of the conference has changed a little bit. I think the conference is better than it was last year. Liberty doesn't look to be what they were. They're probably the only team that's been a big disappointment. I mean, Jack State has looked pretty good after losing everybody. FIU, who was a dumpster fire last year, they beat FAU for the first time in 7 years. UTEP really pushed Texas. Louisiana Tech looks like they might be starting to move in the right direction. Delaware beat UConn, and UConn's a team that's going to win a few games this year. So the conference is much better than it was last year. So I would say my expectations might be tampered a little, but that's just because of what the rest of the conference has looked like so far to this point.
What about New Mexico State though? I don't know that they're doing good still.
Yeah, they beat Tulsa at home, which was really nice, and then they just got the break speed off them at Louisiana Tech, which then tempered my expectations there back to normal. So we said coming into this season that and Delaware are probably the 2 most winnable games on the schedule. It probably still is that way. So we'll see. I think they've got a shot, but It's going to be tough. I mean, New Mexico State looks a little better than last year, but they're still not great.
We know a lot about Texas because if you watch anything, read anything, ESPN is, they know how to pick up on these big teams, the blue bloods, the power teams. We know a lot about Texas. They're covered almost like the Cowboys are in a lot of ways. But here's what Phil Longo said he expects to see from the Longhorns on Saturday.
What I told the team was we have to prepare to expect Texas's very best on Saturday. And I think anytime you prepare for anything less than that, you're doing yourself a disservice as a team, as a staff. And so we are going to look at it as if Texas is going to hit things on all cylinders, and these guys are going to play well on both sides of the ball, and we're going to see their best, and that's what we're preparing for, and that's what we need to expect. And then anything less is what happens on Saturday, but that's what we're looking at. This is an exceptionally talented team that held Ohio State to 14 points, and they're very good on special teams. They aren't extravagant on either side of the ball. They don't need to be. They're so talented. They can just strap it up and go play football, and they do enough to keep you guessing. You've got to be prepared for them. But there are a lot of individual matchups that we know we've got to be able to play and win some one-on-one battles to give ourselves an opportunity against Texas.
Yes, they're going to have to win a lot of one-on-one battles to give themselves an opportunity against Texas.
Yeah. I don't know if you clipped it too, but I thought it was interesting how he talked to the players about, like, hey, you're playing Texas. These are the guys that the NFL scouts look at. Like, if you can prove yourself here, like, you've got a shot to go play in the league. And so you go look to make a name for yourself. I thought that part was interesting.
Yeah, I did. There was just so much. Like I said, there was a lot of good stuff. So I kind of tempered the clips down to 5. I didn't clip that one specifically, but that was interesting to me. And then also when talking about the environment, playing in DKR, there's going to be roughly 100,000. They've sold it out. Will this be the largest crowd to watch a Sam Houston football game in program history? It's going to be close because the previous record is 100,310 at LSU in 2014.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It's going to be one of those two. And 2014 wasn't that kind to us either. I think that was like a 63-10 or something kind of game against LSU.
Your FCS going into Tiger Stadium, man.
Yeah. Just take the check and run with it.
They got real Tigers there.
Yeah.
There's a real Longhorn. Yeah. Don't take your Bearkat this weekend. That Longhorn's mean. We saw that with Hogue.
Yeah. That was funny.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's a large crowd, right? And so yes, Longo made a point and was a good point. This is a chance for you to prove yourself, right? You want to go play in the NFL? You better make a name for yourself, and this week is the time you do.
Yeah, and that goes back to winning one-on-one battles. I feel like
that's what he said too, but
yeah.
Boy, winning one-on-one battles is easier said than done against the Texas Longhorns this year.
Yes.
Now, hey, look, if this was the Texas Longhorns of Tom Herman, I feel a lot differently about this game.
Or Charlie Strong.
Oh, God. That was bad. Jesus, man. That loss at Kansas. Oh. Oof. Rough.
Not good.
No. But this Texas defense, dude, they're for real.
Phil
Longo talked about it here. Here's what he had to say about the Texas defense, and he even has a little to say about Arch Manning and the offense in here.
They're, defensively, I'll speak to the D-line is, in my opinion, the strength of the team. I think they make the back end better, and that's no disrespect to the back end. We try to identify the 3 weak players on every defense. We want to know where they are in practice, and we try to attack them. And right now, there's nobody wearing the weak player jerseys in practice with the Texas defense because, we have that much respect for all 11 starters out there, and then they have some depth. So they roll through people at all 3 levels. They're twitchy up front. They get off the football, they're going to be in your offensive line's face immediately. They're going to cross the line of scrimmage, and they're physical, and they do a good job block destruction. Offensively, I think there's a lot of media coverage and attention on the offense right now, but I'm very well aware of what Arch Manning is capable of. Recruited him out of high school, one of the best quarterbacks I've seen coming out of high school in the last 10 years, and I'm also well aware of what some of these players on offense at Texas are capable of doing, and so it's going to be a challenge up front. We know we've got to do a good job. We've got to have some stability up front on the defensive line, and I think we need to challenge Texas schematically a little bit, and continue to try and develop and create some pass rush lanes for us like we did last game in Hawaii. That was an issue the first 2 weeks. Thought we did some things to get that thing going, and that won't be any change here. We're going to need to do that against Texas.
Ooh, I timed that one beautifully. All right, so there was, if you want to know more, and he talked about the connections with Texas and Kyle Flood, and don't get me started. Kyle Flood's a horrendous coach, in my opinion. I know he was on Keeler's staff back at Delaware, and he's friends with Longo, but dude, Kyle Flood, in my opinion of him, is just not high, based only off coaching. I don't even know him personally at all. Regardless, there are a lot of connections to the Manning family. Longo talked about his connections to Archie and things of that nature. If you really want to read a good breakdown on that, go see Lane Fobb's Bearkat Bites on Substack. He had a really good piece on that today. I highly recommend going there and reading all his stuff. Fobbs puts out some great stuff on his Bearkat Bites.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
A lot of great stuff.
That's like a lot, like on a daily basis kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, and he's got YouTube. He's got a post game broadcast that you can go and rant about what you're going to see on Saturday, because we know it's going to be ugly. But he talked about the defense. This defense is different, man.
Yeah, for Texas, and he mentioned the D-line as the strength, and that is absolutely the case. I mean, I think it might be the best D-line in the country. We saw what they did at Ohio State, holding them to 14 points while on the road. I mean, Anthony Hill, Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, all guys that kind of play there up front. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the O-line is a big question for Sam Houston, and I'm just intrigued to see how they hold up against Texas.
Their strongest unit against the weakest unit of the Bearkats offense. Weakest position group. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, it's 100% correct.
Oof. I've never been 100%.
Yeah. Well, and it just plays into the matchup a little bit too. Like if this was last year's Sam Houston team, I mean, in their defense, and even if you had a bad offense, I mean, maybe you find a way to stick around with the way Arch has been playing, and you saw what he did against UTEP, but yeah, it just doesn't, matchup wise, it doesn't really play well into what you do well and what you don't do well. Bad offensive line, they're a great defensive line. You've got a bad defense and their offense is struggling, so you play into that for them. It just doesn't work well from a matchup perspective, and it really was never going to work well with it being Texas.
I'm going to be interested in the next segment to hear what you think, how this will compare to how UTEP played.
Yeah, it kind of a, I don't know if it's the right way to say, but a measuring stick. I mean,
I like to call it the transitive properties. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter, but
right,
it can.
Yeah, and I don't know how well of an evaluator that is, how UTEP did against Texas compared to how we do, because Texas probably isn't happy about how they played last week, and they're going to come out firing, and so we'll see. I mean, it might be a measuring stick or the transitive property, but I'm not too sure it is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things you cannot do. But, hey, look, if they're out-talented to a large degree, it's going to say a lot about the state of the program right now. One other thing I want to mention, what color are the weak player jerseys? And if you're on scout team, how much do you have to appreciate getting one of those jerseys each week?
Yeah, what color do you think they are?
Pink?
Okay. What color do the quarterbacks wear in practice? I feel it's probably
Green?
different everywhere. Yeah, green I feel like is the one you see a lot of. Yellow
Green,
too.
maybe black.
I feel like I see some yellow too, so they just stick out. I feel like I've seen that one also.
Yeah, it's probably not a pink jersey. I'm being facetious there. It would be hilarious, but I think that's a question now that if you're a part of the weekly press conference, you should ask them which three of the opposing team's defense is wearing the weak player jerseys that week.
Yeah. He probably wouldn't say publicly, even if he did know.
I don't think you're going to know. But you know what he does know? He knows to get on that list right now at Eternal Roofing for them Christmas lights, because we're mid-September, barreling towards October. That list is filling up, and here is how you can be a part and have Eternal Roofing put up and take down. They do it all. Your Christmas lights.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And while this is not as important maybe as getting on that Christmas lights list, because that's got to be quick, it is extremely important, because we talked in the first segment about NIL. Here's how you can help the Cats and the Cats athletes, and Benjamin is going to tell us.
Oh, there we go. It's me on screen this week. cat-fund.com. There you go. You can sign up and become a member and support Sam Houston athletes at Sam Houston for as little as $10 a month, and you get access to a lot of cool stuff, Cat Fund merch, exclusive content and stuff like that on our forums, discounted access into our Cat Fund events, like we have our golf tournament and auction for the men's basketball team coming up in 3 weeks or so. So definitely want to sign up, become a member, support Sam Houston. Every dollar counts. We need your support. So cat-fund.com is the place to go.
I appreciate the shade.
Well, a couple weeks ago it was you, and then it was me, and then it was you last week, and now it's back to me. So
that's because I went in messing with crap. I didn't go messing with crap this week.
There you go.
It's
Lesson
like every
learned.
time I log into StreamYard, it's got some sort of update, and I'm like, "Ooh, let's see what toys I can play with," and I screw something up.
I can attest to that. I logged on, and there were sounds going off that
I've got
Cory was messing with.
so many sounds. Hey, the Texas Longhorns are coming.
Get off the tracks.
That's right. We might want one of these too.
Yeah.
It's good.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Now, before we get
that's the biggest key to stay healthy. Just stay healthy.
Yes, that's the key to this game. Get out healthy. That's
because then you go in quarterbacks. Yeah, you go into arguably your most winnable game for your next game.
And it is almost a bye week before that game too.
Yeah, it's like that mini bye where you go back into that midweek schedule, and it's not a full 2 weeks, but it's close to it.
I think that's good, because now you had a bye, then you get a game, now you got a mini bye. You're going to be, I feel like, as long as, whatever Catholic or whatever church stuff you want to do to cross yourself and knock on wood or whatever it is, as long as you can get out healthy, you're going to be extremely healthy going into New Mexico State. That would be important.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Conference USA play is what matters, especially this season.
Oh, that's all that matters right now. So let's get into where we stand on our predictions this year. Last time the Cats played, they were out in Hawaii. God, it was late at night. Rainbow Warriors were a 6.5-point favorite. Total was 48. Benjamin said Hawaii was going to win 31-20. I said Hawaii would win 35-14. Ben hit the Bearkats number on the nose. I dang near hit Hawaii's number. It was 37-20. for, and we love saying this around here, the third consecutive 17-point loss for the Cats. Isn't that great?
It is. Well, it is great. Is I think I'm 5-1 overall this year in our pick'ems.
Well, now you're 3-0 against the spread. You're 2-1 against the total. You didn't quite, or did you get the total on this one?
I think I got the total.
51. Yeah, you got the total on this one. Now, meanwhile, there's the other side of doing well against the spread, and I'm 1-2, and I'm 1-2 total. So I'm 2-4. I'm losing money. Don't put any money on what I say before, but this is the game. You take what I'm about to tell you, and you put everything you need to on it. Don't put like rent money down, but maybe a car payment or something. You can double.
Still a substantial amount, but not a life-changing amount.
That's right. Don't put your car payment down on any sporting event. That would be ridiculous. All right. So here is what we have for this week. Vegas lines via Bet365. It opened with Texas being 40.5-point favorites, which when I first saw that, I put that on the total and then realized it was the spread. Thought that was kind of funny. The total was 51.5. That's how it opened. Now, as you can see, if you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, Texas has been bet down a whole point to 39.5, and the total went up a half a point to 52. So Las Vegas is saying they believe Texas wins 45 3/4 to 6 1/4, and since no, that's not possible, we're going to round and make it 46-6.
Yeah.
That's what Vegas says. Ben, what say you?
Yeah, I'm very close to Vegas. And if the line, I saw some lines at 41 or 42.5, which might have put me on the other side. But I'm going to go 48-7 Texas. So slightly over at 55 points, and then Texas just barely covering by about 1.5. So with this line, Texas covering. With the original line, I saw some places maybe not, but here I've got Texas covering.
I was also a little like, oh, I can't just be like right on the nose. Like I'm right here with Vegas too.
Yeah.
But listen, all the talk has been around the struggles of Arch Manning. Well, nothing provides more confidence in 2025 than facing a Bearkats defense. Sam Houston picks up a sad field goal in the fourth quarter, probably inside the 20, and it'll be like a 19, 20-yard field goal. It'll be a sad field goal in the fourth quarter against the Longhorns' third and fourth team defense. And Texas pulls out a 45-3 victory. I am going Texas to cover, and I'm going under in this.
I could see it with the way both offenses have been struggling. But I think it's a get-right week for the Texas offense, and that pushes it over just a little bit.
I think it is too, but I think a get-right week for them, 45 points would be a lot of right.
Yeah, I just need him to get 48 points worth of right.
Yeah, well.
And I think we score a touchdown. I think it's either going to be like the first drive where you just punch him in the mouth and just kind of wake him up, or it's 48-0. You're driving with 3 minutes left. You break off a 25-yard run and score. But I feel like we find a way to score a touchdown. I got a feeling. You
have a touchdown. I have a sad field goal.
Yeah. Well, I might have a sad touchdown.
It's not see, only sad field goals. You know, like it's like when you watch the NFL game and they're down, 24 to nothing and late in the third quarter and they kick a field goal from 30 yards. It's sad.
Yeah, unless you own that or you own that kicker in fantasy, that it's a great time.
I stopped playing fantasy football.
You're missing
out. Just didn't really have the time for it anymore.
Yeah, it is time consuming. I think I've sent 2 texts during this podcast about trades for fantasy football.
That's a man who can multitask. That's Benjamin Sorrells.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. That's a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod presented by Eternal Roofing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We're going to be back next week. We're going to review this Texas game and get ready for a mini bye and more Bearkat athletics coverage. Till then, stay safe. And Ben, take us home.
Yeah, eat 'em up, Cat. Stay safe. Please stay healthy. And let's get ready for Conference USA play.
kick that sad field goal.